All right, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. Today, we're joined by Tom Kidd, a lifelong educator, speaker, and author who's dedicated more than 3 decades to empowering students, families, and communities through health and wellness. Tom earned both his bachelor and master's degrees from the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse, and he spent 33 years teaching health education, including 20 years at DeLong Middle School in Eau Claire. He's also served as health education coordinator for 30 years with CESA number 10, and he's taught at the college and graduate levels across the whole country. Through his business, Balanced Wellness Services, Tom delivers over 100 different health and wellness topics to educators, parents, organizations, and companies. He's authored 2 books, Raising Preteens, Don't Freak, Tweak, and What I'm the Pilot Flying the Plane. Both of these books are aimed at helping people live with purpose, passion, and confidence. And beyond Tom's professional work, he's a proud husband of 45 years, father and grandfather to 5 grandchildren, and he continues to give back to his community through his service and mentorship. So please help me welcome Mr. Tom Kidd.
Well, thank you very, very, very much, Gatlin. And I'm happy to be here today. And looks like we're going to be talking about humor and laughter.
Yeah. So the title of your so this is one of your programs you deliver in public speaking, right? Um,
Right?
it's called Laughter, the Great Medicine for Your Funny Bones.
Correct. We wanted to give it a little tweak and make even the title funny.
All right. I'd love to hear more. You can you you could just give whatever snippets from your normal spiel that you want to give. But my biggest question for you is um, what originally got you started into talking about this?
Well, that's an interesting question, Gatlin. I had a professor from UW La Crosse. He and I did some research on professional developers, people who go through the research and find out what are the key ingredients to personal development. And after researching things and looking at studies and articles for 7 years, we concluded that there were a top seven things that were probably generic through all of them. And one of them that was consistently popping up in all the research was have a sense of humor and laughter. And so, since I was in the business of speaking on health and wellness issues, I thought, okay, I might as well start talking about that because I know it's critical, it's important, we need it, it's free, and everybody enjoys it. So I started talking about it. I started integrating it in my classroom as a teacher, and I started integrating it in my graduate study classes that I offered to educators.
All right. Well, I think it's a good fit too. I mean, I had the pleasure of hearing you speak at the Laval Winter Wellness Fair, and you can just tell you're a naturally playful, humorous guy with. And well, what is the difference between um, sense of humor and something that's funny or laughing?
Yeah, that's a great question too. Humor, people kind of confuse humor and laughter. Humor is what makes you laugh. It's the joke, it's the situation, it's the cartoon, it's the picture, it's the situation. Laughter is what your how your body reacts to it. Some people cry when they laugh. Some people they have to blow their nose after they laugh. Some people get a side ache. Some people, hold their gut. Some people get in the fetal position. And it's so laughter is an interesting physical phenomenon because it's different for everybody. And I love to watch people laugh. That's it's one of the things I like to do. And so humor, just to recap again, is what you're laughing at. It's the joke, the situation, the cartoon, the picture, whatever. But the laughter is the physical act and the response to the humor.
Okay, I see.
So yeah,
Interesting. Now, comedy is usually, or it seems like it's often related to, the misfortune of others, right?
right.
Um, Now, how important is it for a person to be able to be able to laugh at themselves instead of just others?
Well, first of all, that's a double-sorted question. The first one is we really need to teach kids and adults, for that matter, to laugh with, not at others. Um, uh, Bullying can be in a form of laughter. And so, as I taught health education and I taught the basics of laughter and the importance of laughter, I always shared with the kids that it's important to laugh with, not at. And I asked them to be empathetic. I said, "How do you feel to be laughed at?" And so they hopefully understood that paradigm. But to laugh at yourself is another whole question. That's one of the ways I find laughter in life, because there are so many instances that I'm asking where my glasses are and they're on top of my head. I'm doing something so funny that I have to stop and just give a chuckle for myself because it's so funny. Where I would always like poo poo it and be embarrassed and just move on right away. Nope, no more. I'm just enjoying laughing at myself. It's a good phenomenon and a good feeling, and I think it's important for people to do that. We all make mistakes. We all do things that are funny, and laugh at yourself. It's a good thing.
Yeah. And is that something that seems like that evolves over time where as we get older, we acquire that ability to just laugh at ourselves instead of feel embarrassed?
It does. And young kids, they'll laugh at themselves, real young kids, they'll laugh at themselves because they don't have the inhibitions. But then as we grow older, we seem to develop those inhibitions and feel more embarrassed for whatever reason. And I think we need to reverse that process as we age and just, hey, laugh at ourselves, enjoy it. And here I am.
Sure.
And for instance, I was sitting on a chair camping with my grandkids about a week ago, and I was at the fire cooking brats and hot dogs, but I was sitting in a chair. And for some reason, I was on a little incline and I fell all the way over backwards. And everybody was concerned that Grandpa fell over backwards and he was hurt. And I just put up my tongs in the air and continued to laugh. And they wanted to help me out. And I said, "No, I'm going to lay here and laugh. So just leave me alone." And so I was perfectly fine. And just finding instances like that are awesome and great.
Sure. And sometimes laughter could be used as coping, right?
Oh, for sure. In fact, have you ever been to an Irish funeral?
No.
Um, I have, and the Irish have a keen sense of grief. Not only are they solemn and they do their crying and they do their grieving and so on and so forth, but they also have a time where they just sit around, tell stories about the deceased person and funny stories and laugh. And when they laugh, their brain gives off a chemical that makes them feel good, endorphins, as we all know, and they share good times and it helps the grieving process. So it does help you cope. It helps people that are depressed cope. In fact, I think doctors who prescribe depression medication, I think they should also prescribe so many minutes of laughter a day,
Yeah, for
right on
sure.
the prescription.
Yeah, the old saying, laughter is the best medicine, right?
Exactly, right on, right on.
Yeah. So what is talking about that chemical that's released in the brain, does that have anything to do with you mentioned earlier Norman Cousins did some research on laughter. What could you talk a little bit more about that?
Sure. He actually wrote a book called Anatomy of an Illness, and I would highly recommend it to anybody. Um, he was a doctor, a regular physician, and he through his research he recommended that we laugh 6.5 minutes of belly laughter a day. 6.5 minutes of belly laughter a day. And he said, if you don't get that, it's just like not getting your exercise. It's not like getting your social connections, your physical touch. He said it's a critical thing that we have to intentionally focus on and plan for. So anyway, my kids in my classrooms and my graduate adult teachers all knew that they needed to get 6.5 minutes because I would give them a popsicle stick with a smiley face on it with the number 6.5 on it. And I'd tell them stick it in their pocket, stick it in their purse, put it in their pencil cup holder on their desk and have it act as a reminder. But Norman Cousins developed cancer in the story, if you read the book. Um, I think he was in his late 70s, and they told him he had a year or so left to live. And he said, "Well, what options do I have?" And they told him, about all the physical medical options that he had. And he said, "No, I think I'm going to choose the option of laughter." So back in the day, he watched a lot of comedies, Marx Brothers and blah, 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 comedy shows. And he defied the medical society and lived for another 17 years and died somewhere in his early 90s. Had stage 4 cancer, if I'm not mistaken. And he chose the pathway to, to laugh daily, which the research shows adds to longevity and adds to your health and wellness.
Hmm.
So very interesting. And I'd highly recommend that book, Anatomy of an Illness.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really cool story. It reminds me of well, what you just said makes me think of is here at the foundation we talk a lot about mental health and wellness and um what's changed, if anything, recently that's caused like maybe a pandemic with depression or teen anxiety, especially, and
Mm-hmm.
and and seeing the correlation between the oncoming of screens and smartphones and the screen addiction that's really just engulfed everybody. Um, I can think of my own personal feed. A lot of it is funny related stuff. So I
Oh,
mean,
yeah,
maybe
of
maybe
course.
that's a good tip to kids. If you're gonna scroll anyway, at least have your feed have some funny stuff in there for
There
sure.
you go. As a grandfather, I check my grandson's feeds that he's on, and I actually find humorous feeds and say, "Hey, check this out." And he's starting to really like them, and he's going to them now. And I think that's a valid point. Kids kids don't laugh as much today, and it has a lot to do with their mental health and their happiness and their attitude. They're so serious about being competitive on the games and looking up whatever they're looking up on the internet, and comparing themselves to others, and just a whole variety of garbage in my estimation. So I think it's a piece of the whole mental health process is teaching kids and providing kids the opportunity to laugh more often. You're
Have you ever
absolutely
seen
right.
that once in a while this clip comes through my feed and uh it's a group of people. I don't It almost looks like a game show setting or a talk show setting where they gathered a bunch of people together that have really unique laughs, right?
Oh,
Like like hilarious laughs. Like you hear this
uh,
person laugh and you can't help but laugh. So they have these, I don't know if it's 5 or 10 different people with all these laughs, and then they all start laughing and then they can't stop because they're laughing at everyone else laughing. And
Well, it's interesting that you share that with me because when I was teaching my grad class to teachers, and it was called Refocus, Rejuvenate, Re-energize yourselves to become a more effective educator. Humor obviously was a piece of it, and I had a CD of people's laughs. And so the lesson before, I would say, "Do you think laughter is contagious?" And a lot of them would say yes. Some of them say no. Some of them don't know. And when they came back for my laughter piece, I popped in that CD, and it was 7 minutes long of all different kind of laughs, all different races of people, all different ages of people. Some were crying, some were giggling, some were spitting, some were, like I said, over in the fetal position. And by the end of that 7 minutes, everybody in the class was laughing, and then I would shut it off and I say, "Case closed." So why wouldn't
yeah.
you want to spread the wealth, spread the
Yeah.
laughter? It's
Have you
infectious in a good way.
have you heard about laughter yoga?
Oh yes, in fact, I showed a little clip on where your laughter yoga started and how people actually start some exercises with that. If I'm not mistaken, it was somewhere over in Africa or Zimbabwe or somewhere like that. Some doctor started it, and it's caught on all over the world. Laughter
Okay.
yoga.
I've never done it, but from what I understand, tell me if if you understand otherwise. But you really, you don't need to be certified to teach it or anything. It's just like you get a group of people together and you start to just force laughter, fake laughter, and
Yeah.
kind of just be silly and bump into each other, and then it just
Yep.
explodes into this thing.
Right. Because you're laughing about how the other people are laughing about nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
And
That's
so
awesome.
then it becomes a genuine laughter. And then once it's a genuine laughter, you know how that goes. Have you ever been with someone where you both couldn't stop laughing?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So it becomes to that latitude. And by the time you're done with the session or the opportunity or the experience, you're both going, ah, you're looking for more air and wiping your eyes and blowing your nose and holding your stomach because it's so sore from your diaphragm going up and down. And yeah, it's laughter yoga is a thing, and I'd highly recommend people checking into it as a
Yeah.
form of therapy.
All right, I'm tempted to organize one here now.
There you
It sounds
go.
fun. I mean, so beautiful that you can have such a free medicine and a fun medicine.
Yeah,
Eh,
free and fun and no copay.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And I don't know what it is though about tickling. You know, you get tickle a little kid and they laugh, but you
yeah,
also kind of hate it at the same time.
I know.
It's just
And
it's a
that's me. I
conundrum.
hate being tickled, but I love the laughter, and my grandkids love the laughter. But they have a timeout word that they I told them that they could say if I'm tickling them and they're laughing too hard, and they can't stop. It's pookies. So when my grandson or granddaughter and I'm tickling them and they're laughing hysterically and they can't handle it anymore, they say pookies, and then Grandpa has to stop.
All right, that's the safe word.
Right, right, right.
Awesome. Um, so as a teacher, how did you use laughter to get your students to learn, or what did you do to make them laugh?
Okay. I had an endorphin releasing library in my classroom, which was a compilation of joke books and funny stories and embarrassing moments that were appropriate, you know, for middle school kids. I taught middle school. And every day there was a joke reader of the day. And they could either come up, find one in the library that they were going to share with the class before they started, or share an appropriate, clean one that they had themselves or an embarrassing moment. And research behind that says when you laugh or physically exercise before you're taught something, the information that you're taught stays in your brain for a significantly long period of time, if not forever, because your prefrontal cortex, which is for learning, fills with blood and operates more effectively. So it's a real interesting piece for me as an educator that, okay, I'm going to get them up and moving. I'm going to make them laugh. And now I'm going to teach. So
Oh,
hopefully my learning will be more effective.
yeah, okay.
So there would be times I'd wear a clown nose in for a lesson, or I'd dress up for the day that it was, you know, that they didn't know that it was a, you know, National Donut Day. And sometimes they wouldn't remember my lesson or my unit, but they say, Mr. Kidd, I remember that day you wore a donut or you wore a clown nose. Yeah, I think you were talking about something about you know, whatever laughter that day, or you know, they'll seem to try to recollect that. But yeah, I tried to integrate as much as I could and laugh with them again,
Yeah.
and have them laugh with each other, not at each other.
All right. We're going to call this a scientific term here. We're going to call it laughter-induced transient hyperfrontality.
Here you go. Now that's an innovative and cool acronym.
Well, it's in I just recently got certified as a language of breath worker, and
Ah, perfect.
there's a term we use called hypoxic induced transient hypo hypofrontality, and
Okay.
that's a temporary shutting down of the prefrontal cortex that
Oh,
induces an altered state of consciousness, just like if your prefrontal cortex is engaged and the rest of your brain isn't. So
yeah.
it's
Oh,
it's
interesting.
it's kind of the opposite. But yeah,
Yeah, very good.
that makes
Very cool.
sense. That makes
Yeah,
total sense.
yeah.
Um, what else was I going to ask you?
Shoot for the moon.
But why do you think we laugh less as we get older? Or maybe it's a bell curve of sorts.
Uh, I think it's a bell curve if we're aware. On the average, the research shares that kids laugh 126 times a day. 126 times a day. Adults over 40, 17 times a day.
Wow.
So what I don't know what that's all about. All I can say is as we grow, we seem to have less time having fun, and that's sad. And I think life seems to become more serious as we age. We have bills, we have more responsibilities, we have jobs, blah blah blah. So I think that is a part of that bell curve, and it's why maybe we have less time to just simply laugh. But I think the bottom line is we don't look for it and we don't plan for it. Um, I think if you put on your daily to-do list, find something today to laugh at this time when I'm not totally locked in and geared for something. Look for something to laugh at. Find something, laugh at something. Look up something that will make you laugh. I think that will raise the bar on the number of opportunities we find laughing in. But 126 to 17 is a pretty dramatic drop. And if we're supposed to laugh 6.5 minutes a day, um, I'm sure that's dwindled to about maybe 30 seconds a day if
You're
we
right.
if we add them all up. So
Gosh, 126 times a day for a kid. I wonder what that adds up to minute
oh yeah,
wise.
yeah. Think about it. You
Yeah,
think about it. You go on a kindergarten playground sometime, or go into a kindergarten classroom or pre-K classroom where they're having fun, or a camp with young kids. You'll see how rapidly it adds up. Um, but but maybe that's supposed to happen, and maybe we just need to appreciate it more when we can as we age. Period.
sure.
They don't maybe appreciate it as much as we do when we focus on it and say, at this time, I'm appreciating the moment of laughing. I'm okay with
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Well, and two, they say our ego comes online when we're like between 18 months and 2 years old, and we realize that our name is unique, and that's right. The terrible twos, right? They start
Yep.
to, I'm going to be my own, person. That ego creeps in, but then as we age and get to adolescence and that point of life and start taking things more seriously and acting like an adult with a serious face, um, you know,
Yeah.
that's when, we tend to feel embarrassed. Like kids, the younger the kid, the less chance of them being embarrassed. And I can remember, I'm the father of six boys,
Oh,
and,
nice.
and I can remember just certain points in different ages of my boys' lives where I noticed that they were displaying signs of embarrassment for the first time, right?
Sure.
And my 7-year old though, I don't know if he's done that yet, but now there's some shyness creeping in where instead of
Yeah.
just dancing or singing for anybody, anywhere, anytime, it's got to be the right moment for him
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that awareness,
They do go through those stages, and it does have to deal with their ego. And I think that ego is built on an up and down relationship over a period of time, because my granddaughter was way outgoing, like your son, dance all over, jump, do gymnastic things for us. And now, Remy, you say, "Here, come on, give Grandpa a hug," and she comes and go hugs her mom's leg, and it's like, what is this person? But you wait, and it all comes around. It's all good.
yeah, yeah.
So,
And that awareness, in the language of breath, we talk about awareness a lot. We say awareness is the foundation of all positive change. And
absolutely.
it seems like when you talk to someone who's old, like a grandparent, right? Or somebody who's even way older than a typical grandparent, it seems like they just usually, not always, but they just kind of have it figured out. They've let their ego go, and
Yeah.
they laugh at themselves easier, and they just understand the world way deeper than a younger person. Even someone in their 40s and 50s is still going through the waves
Sure.
of getting to that point, or
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
not ego dissolution by any means, but maybe just more awareness of the ego and recognizing when it comes in.
Yep, absolutely. You're right. And it's an interesting process as we age because it's like, I don't care if my granddaughter is embarrassed that I'm swinging next to her and I'm 70 years old, I don't care that I hug her in front of her friends or my grandson in front of his friends. It's something I do and it's something I am, and he'll eventually learn someday, and she will eventually learn someday.
Yeah. About 8 years ago, I went to this leadership program thing that was like 3 days in Las Vegas, and it was sort of it's called rapport leadership, and it's sort of very intense, sort of a brainwashing event where they really get you motivated and encouraged, and it's kind of hard to explain, but it's more or less a brainwashing of sorts. You
Sure,
you come
sure.
back and you just want everyone to do it, and you feel so good. And I went to pick up
Uh-huh.
my kindergartner that day, the day after I got back, and just had no fear, ready to say anything, do anything.
Yeah,
And I walk
yeah.
into the classroom, and it was my birthday,
Ah.
and I thought, gosh, and I've heard kindergartners sing "Happy Birthday" before, and it's so loud.
Oh,
They
I
say they
know.
sing with all their heart.
Yep.
And at the end of this leadership program, what we had to do is sing a song. Gosh, what was the America the Beautiful?
Oh,
As loud as we could at the top of our lungs,
oh
not
my.
singing, screaming.
Oh,
And and so my first thought was, I want these kindergartners to sing "Happy Birthday" to me. And so
sure.
I told the teacher, I said, "It's my birthday. Will you have the class sing to me?" And she looked at me kind of funny, like nobody's ever asked that, but
Yeah,
they sang to me so loud, and
nice.
I enjoyed every minute of it.
Nice. And so did they.
Yeah, right. They sure
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
But then it made me think, would the first graders sing as loud? The second graders, on up, how loud would high schoolers be singing that song?
Not
What
very.
enthusiasm would they have? So
Right. Not very
if
much.
if we could all just be like kindergartners and
I
laugh
know.
126 times a day,
Right on.
man.
Right
It,
on.
I the funniest movie I ever watched was Tommy Boy.
Oh, great.
Or I would say the hardest I ever laughed. And I still laugh at it, but boy, I would love to go back and watch that for the first time
Yeah.
again.
And guess what? I'm going to challenge you to do it in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
will.
You
I
go for
will.
it. Yeah.
What's a good quote to end on, Tom? Do you have a good quote about laughter you want to share?
Sure. If you take life too seriously, you will develop serious illnesses.
I love
There's a
that.
direct correlation to not laughing and becoming ill. And if you have time, I'd like to share the many benefits of laughter: physical, mental, emotional, social
Oh, yes,
benefits, if we
please,
can
please,
do that.
please.
But I think that quote sums it all up. If you take life too seriously and choose not to laugh, um, the consequences you will develop serious illnesses. And that might be depression, that might be high blood pressure, that might be, heart disease, who knows, cancer, when your immune system gets down, and blah, 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 blah. But there are so many. Do you mind if I share the physical research benefits of laughter?
Absolutely not. I would love to have you share that.
Okay. Um, I have a long list here, and I apologize for reading some of them, but there's such a long list. I just want to share some of them and stop and talk about a few of them. But when you laugh, you increase circulation of oxygen because you cannot laugh without sucking in air, right? And when you
Right.
suck in air, yeah, when you suck in air, you're bringing in fresh oxygen into your lungs. That's being transported to your red blood cells and carried out to all the body parts that need it. So it increases circulation and literally gives you an uplift just because of the oxygen. We have oxygen bars now. People go and hook themselves up to the oxygen. Well, we can do it easily and free just by laughing instead of hooking a mask up to your face and breathing in pure oxygen. You're less tired, obviously, because you have more oxygen in your system. They have then done studies where you actually live longer when you laugh more because of all the ramifications of the body systems that are entailed, which I will explain here. You have less ulcers. Your stomach actually secretes protective enzymes when you laugh. So people that are worrywarts should laugh more. And because the worrywarts are going to probably be more prone to developing ulcers and the stomach not secreting the protective enzymes that they should. It lowers blood pressure. They've done studies with high blood pressure folks that were taken off their medication for a short period of time, um, um, trained to laugh, and their blood pressure reading over a period of time decreased. It increases heart rate, which is good. It exercises the heart. The heart is a muscle. It needs exercise. And so when you laugh, it increases the heart rate, which is good. And it increases endorphins, which make you feel good. That's a feel good chemical. It actually increases the mucus secretions in your body, which are used to protect you. It picks up the dirt particles in the air in your nose. Thus, you blow out the mucus when you have a cold, or it's picking it up in your body and you rid it from your nose. Same thing when you cry. Toxins are in your tears. Same thing when some people wet themselves when they laugh. They laugh so hard they lose bladder control. Well, urine is toxins, so you're getting rid of them that way. So whether you cry, you urinate, or you any other way to get rid of or blow your nose, you're getting rid of toxins. Um, your body actually increases antibodies, which fight off disease, so you're sick less. It actually relaxes muscles. Some people fall into a heap after a good long laugh because their muscles were so tense and so tight during that period of laughter that they just are relaxed and they fall right into the couch and they go, "Oh my, that was a good laugh," and they just feel relaxed. It helps transport nutrients around. It gives internal organs a workout. Actually, your diaphragm, which goes parallel to your organs in your lower part of your stomach. When you laugh, it goes up and down. So it's jostling your kidneys, it's jostling your pancreas, it's jostling your stomach, it's jostling your lungs, and giving them a good old internal workout when you laugh. Sometimes actually so much that they cramp up, and that's where you get your side ache. You feel better because your emotions are released. Back to the Irish funeral situation there. There are two things that bond people in the research: laughter and food. That's why when you go on a cruise ship, sometimes, if you've ever been on one, or a wedding where you're plunked at a table and you don't know anybody, after everybody eats and after someone breaks the ice with a little joke, you feel like family. You feel like family because you've eaten, and you've laughed together. And it's two simple things. If you ever have meetings or groups, food and laughter bond. It's a secret formula. And with all those physical research benefits, you can have it for free. Like I said earlier, no copay.
Hmm.
It's a medicine with no copay.
I love it.
Yeah.
It,
So I wanted to make sure I added that in there because I that's really an important piece to a lot of people that don't know all the physical benefits of laughter, the physical, mental, emotional benefits.
yes, thank you for sharing that.
You
Is there
bet.
anything else you think the listeners should hear?
Laugh every day, shoot for the moon for 6.5, look for opportunities, focus on it, and enjoy the moment when you laugh.
Sure.
Enjoy the moment of laughter. And if you forget, put a little sticky note on your mirror in your bathroom, or put a little sticky note on your medicines or supplements that you have to take. And your last medicine that you take every day is to laugh.
Don't worry as much. Lighten up
And
a little,
don't
right?
and don't worry. Lighten up. Lighten up. There's too many things to worry about, obviously.
Uh, like one of my sons, William, he's always been the comedian of the family, and he likes to do this thing when he goes to the movies, funny movie, and he makes these really funny faces, and he likes to do funny laughs. And what he'll do is he'll laugh at a part in the movie that's not like really funny. It's just a little funny. So he'll be the only one laughing in the theater, but he'll do something like this. And he
Oh
makes this
boy.
funny face, and he just gets us all cracking up so much when he does that.
That's perfect. See, he's an infector, and some people are infectors, and some people are just want to be infected in a good
Yeah,
way. So
yeah.
just realize that as well. But yeah, if there's anything else, feel free to ask. Otherwise, it's been great chatting with you. It's my pleasure, and you yourself, with everything you're doing, as busy as you are, laugh on, my friend.
All right, I will do my best, Tom. Thank you very much for being here today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, thank
You
you.
bet.
Goodbye.
Bye now. Yeah.
Here it is.
Situé par rapport à le public, parce que la salle était
ça,
grande.
je vous ai situé tout de
Mais,
suite, moi.
mais c'est vrai qu'il a été hyper cool.
Mais vous vous êtes déjà fait examiner, c'est quand même curieux, hein, de rire comme ça vient.
Examiné.
Incroyable.
Non, c'est pas curieux, le rire. Le rire, c'est de l'air qui passe au niveau du larynx. Et c'est vrai que je dois avoir un larynx plus ou moins.
That is awesome.
Même à imiter ça.
Hey, what's that?
Oh, oh no.
I don't know if that guy on the right's
Il
laughed
vous a
yet.
déjà.
I don't know
Il vous
either.
a Après, moi quand je suis partie aussi. Hein. Il vous a déjà mis dans des difficultés pas possibles.
Yeah, that guy on the right's not, unless he's the one making
No,
that
he's-
Non,
sound.
du pire.
He's having a hard time.
Ça fait du bien quand même de rigoler.
Tellement bien.
Donc, je repose ma question.
Oh.
On ne tient plus la poule.
And
Il vous a... Il vous a... Attends,
My goodness. I
il y
think
a
the
la